Greetings, metal family. John Dette here. Okay, so for this week's video, I wanted to talk about these guys right here, our pedals. So, our pedals are really as unique as each and every one of you, as each and every one of us, meaning that it depends on the style of music that you're playing, the environment that you're in, and ultimately what you're trying to accomplish, right, on the drums. So that said, I wanted to maybe just give you some insight why I set my pedals up the way that I do, but more importantly, how my pedals are set up for a specific outcome. And what I also like to refer to as a specific terrain. So what do I mean by that? A specific outcome and a specific terrain. So here I go. I want you guys to think of race cars for a moment. Okay, I love using this analogy of race cars. And so I'll start with like the NASCAR. Many of you know NASCAR or Formula One cars. For those of you that are watching outside of the US and you may not be familiar with what I'm talking about, here in the USA, well, we have races. We have car races, and two of the popular races here in the States are what's called NASCAR, and the other one is called Formula One. All right, those cars are set up very specific for those races. Okay, you don't use a NASCAR in a Formula One race, and vice versa. So, and you can look this up. There's also a famous movie for the NASCAR called Talladega Nights. You haven't checked it out? Great movie. But let's look at a NASCAR, for example. It's designed for a very specific outcome. It accelerates to a high speed and it drives around an oval track at top speed. It doesn't brake, doesn't accelerate and brake. It stays at a top speed and goes around a track generally for 3 to 5 hours. A Formula One car similarly does the same thing, but it is designed to brake and not just turn left like the NASCAR, but it's designed to turn left, right, brake, different motions and whatnot. It's designed for a very different but specific outcome. Now let's use a completely exact, like 180-degree opposite example. I'm here in San Diego, just south of the border in Baja, California, as they call it. They have what's called the Baja 1000 race. And in particular, there are these trucks that are designed for that race. They're called trophy trucks, okay? And lifted trucks, but with the suspension on them and the tires designed to go over the desert terrain. They don't race on pavement or on a track. They're literally racing on the desert, and not just racing, but jumping. These trucks are designed to jump, 20 feet into the air and go for, I think, days, actually. I think that race goes for days. So, but my point is that truck is built for a very specific terrain. NASCAR is built for a very specific terrain. If you were to switch those vehicles into different terrains, they would fail miserably, right? Can you imagine a trophy truck trying to go around a NASCAR track? Can you imagine a NASCAR just in the dirt? It wouldn't even get past the starting line. The tires would just dig into the sand, into the dirt, wouldn't go anywhere. So that's how I view these guys right here. Okay. And so I should say first, my terrain is big four thrash metal. That's all my terrain is. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing since I was 14 years old. I've dedicated my life to big four. Very privileged that I've been able to play for 2 of the big 4 bands in my lifetime. It's a great honor. And that said, my pedals are set up for that specific terrain. Okay. So let me show you how I set this up. First, you could probably see I've got a big beater, not just a regular style beater. This is the Danmar wood beater. You can see it's a little worn because it's been used, but that is the Danmar wood beater. It's a heavy beater. And the second thing you'll notice about that beater, look at how far back I have it. That thing's almost in a horizontal position. It's just slightly above horizontal. 10, 12 degrees maybe. Okay. Footboard, pretty standard. Nothing's really changed with the footboard that much. I don't really, footboard going too high like this tends to feel awkward when you have heel up, especially when you're trying to do some ankle technique. That's just me personally. I just try and keep it, you know, that's pretty much how it would look right out of the box, actually. 20, 25 degrees. All right. And then the most important part, again, for this style of music, we keep the springs as tight as they will go. Literally cannot tighten that thing anymore. It's as tight as it will go. It's at the very max pressure. Okay. That combined with the beater back like this gives me incredible power in every hit. I don't use triggers. We don't use triggers where that's not our terrain. Okay. And I'm not knocking people. If that's your terrain, that's awesome. It's just, you know, I'm a trophy truck and you're a NASCAR. That's all it is. So by keeping this back, I get incredible power through every hit. But look at how much that spring opens up when that beater comes all the way back. In fact, watch this. You don't want to be playing these things barefoot. Trust me. You're going to get a whacking. But when that spring goes that far back, look how much it's expanding. It wants to contract back. So what happens is that when you're playing faster double bass, that pedal actually works more for you. And since most of the big four songs, the fast thrashy stuff generally lives in the 180 to 200 BPM range, that's why it makes that pedal an ideal setup. It's actually harder, it's more challenging to play this pedal at slower tempos, if you can believe that, because of the spring tension and how the beater is placed. And it's taken a while to get used to that. In the beginning, it was something I did. I just dealt with it because the setting for the fast stuff was so awesome that I'm like, I'll deal with this and I'll learn how to use the pedal. And, you know, and over the decades I have. But that is, again, specific for that terrain. Now, let me show you, I have another pedal here. As some of you may know, this video is being shot in November 2025. So about 3 months ago, 3 months ago during the summer, I went out on the road with the band Volbeat here in the US on the East Coast, filling in for dates for their drummer, John Larson. And so, as many of you know, Volbeat is not big four thrash metal. It is a completely different terrain. Okay. So what I did for that is I took, here's the pedal, one of the pedals that I used for the Volbeat tour. And you can already see the difference. See if I can hold these up together here. Oh, I mean, you see there's a different beater. You can see that the beater is not resting at an almost horizontal position. This beater is lighter. It is a Tama wood beater, but it's you can see I've raised the beater angle. Footboard's still the same. And then the most important part, the spring tension is not as tight as it'll go. I probably took about 5 full turns to make it looser. Okay. It's still tight, but it's not anywhere near as tight as how I usually keep it. Why did I do that? Because the Volbeat songs have much slower tempos and the feel of the songs. A lot of the Volbeat songs, a lot of people don't realize this, but they have a swing to it. So it's really awesome. But to try and play swing grooves, especially with one of those big four, forget it. That's like, why would you ever try playing I would never show up to a Volbeat gig or any other non-thrash metal gig with a pedal like this. Again, it's like showing up to NASCAR with a trophy truck. So, but because the songs are slower, they have more of a groove, they have a swing. I needed to set the pedal up that was more comfortable for me to control at slower tempos. I didn't want to be fighting pedals for an hour and 45 minutes. Okay. So change the pedal a little bit for the terrain. That makes sense? So as I'm showing you this, again, it's just to make you aware. you guys that are watching this, a lot of you will look at drummers like me or drummers that you respect and admire, and you'll see how they set their pedals up, and you'll go, oh, okay, I'm going to try setting up like this. And that's fine. You can try that. It's nothing wrong with trying. All I would suggest for you to do as well is just have a level of awareness. Just ask yourself some questions. What's my terrain, right? Is it for a specific outcome? What's your specific outcome? Or are you wanting to have a pedal maybe like this that's more set up for a variety of terrains? Okay. Do you want to play a little death metal and a little progressive metal and some, Rush type rock, progressive rock music, and throw some heavy metal in there, right? I think for my car analogy, that would be like a Ford Raptor, or going to a Ford dealership and buying a Mustang off the lot. You could take that Ford Raptor truck off-roading on the weekends, but you can also use it to go to the grocery store, go to the gym, go to work, take the kids to school. It has a variety of functions that it can do, right? Same if you bought a Ford Mustang. So that's all I'm suggesting for you guys to think about before just blindly going in and go, oh, I'm going to set this up. What are you trying to set up? What are you trying to accomplish? What is your terrain? Because that's what's going to allow you to figure out how to set these guys up and which way. Okay. So I hope that makes sense, you guys. Until the next one, as always, hit hard, play fast, keep it heavy.